Hey guys, welcome and thank you for downloading your SEO report. That should be coming into your inbox any moment now. Congrats on taking the first step to really understanding SEO and how your site's stacking up in terms of the services in the area that you provide the services in. Ranking in the top three for your service in your city can be super powerful and bring in endless leads and revenue to your business. So I thought I'd take you through an example report to help you really understand what we're looking at, and what to actually do with the report. So I've got an example client here, Baker's Builds, and we've got the keyword that we're after, which is Auckland Builder. Off the bat, it's going to give you some metrics as to how well you're performing against the keyword that you're after. So we're sitting at 48%. So we'll run through this and have a look. So first up, we've got to look at what's above the fold. Above the fold here is what shows on the website above the initial screen. So you always want to have important stuff above that, such as your phone number and an inquiry form, which is good. Next up, we can see that this website is a little bit slow. So what we've got here is the page speed metrics. So the faster your website, the better the user experience is going to be, and the more people are going to be able to navigate your website and make an inquiry. Get information. So there's some work to do here on increasing that page speed, which you can either send to a developer or we can do that in another video. So next up, we've got the SEO content readability results. So this is basically a look at how easy the site is to read, as well as how many words we've got. So the readability of this page is really good with an 80 plus score. We've got 1200 words, which is a good amount for the keyword that we're after. Most tradie websites have about 500 to 700 words, so you always want to be at the higher end of that. The more words that you've got, the more information, the more likely you are to get a higher ranking. So we've just got some results here from different types of reading tests. We're doing well there, so that means we don't need to change how we don't need to change the way the copy reads on the site. If you did need to change the way the copy reads, I'd recommend taking that to the Hemingway app. You can just Google Hemingway app, put your copy through there, and it's going to help you write it out in a more simple format. Okay, next up, we've got the text statistics. Again, that's just referring to how easy our web page is to read. We don't need to do much work here, so that's good. Next up, we've got to look at the content that's being served on the site. So we've got quite a lot of image bandwidth on this site. So we could probably reduce the sizes of some of those images using an image compressor. JavaScript is basically anything that shows something moving. So that could be a form submitting or something kind of jumping around on the website, fancy pop-up stuff. We've got a very low JavaScript load, so that's nothing needs to be changed there. Again, if you did have a high JavaScript load, you'd want to remove some scripts from your page that you might have deployed in your header code, or maybe you want to talk to a developer to help you reduce that load and serve it in a single JavaScript response. CSS is basically the styling of a website. Our CSS is all combined and looking good. A very low load of only 3 kilobytes. Okay, now we look into the on-page statistics. So this is basically a checklist that we've put together to tell you, what you're doing well and what you might need to be working on. For example, this page has got a canonical URL, which is good. A canonical URL is basically the URL that we're telling Google is the original piece of content. For example, we might have two URLs with very similar content, but we want to tell Google, hey, this is the original piece of content, just ignore the other one. That way, Google doesn't get confused if you've got similar types of content. It's going to know which one to prioritize. These are all good. The page has a favicon. If you see up here, these little images that go with the website, that's the favicon. So this one's got a little purple circle. Gmail obviously has a envelope, etc. So there's a lot of green stuff there. That's good. This page is a URL redirection issue. So that's because we've put in the HTTP result, not the HTTPS. So if your website's being served in HTTP as your final URL, then that's not a good sign. You want to have the S at the end to show that the data is encrypted. Next up, we've got a bit of a look at the word counts. A warning there that it's a little bit low, but we know that the type of content that we're competing with other builders, 2,000 words isn't going to be an issue. If you're doing long form content like a massive blog post, that might be something to look at. Mobile usability, that's a massive one. We've got 2 ticks here, so everything's good. In terms of the URL, again, 3 ticks there, it's good. And we've got a cross because the keyword's not found in the URL. Unfortunately, this is the domain name for the website, so we can't actually change that. But if you did have a service page, for example, Auckland Builders, you'd want to make sure your keyword is in the URL. So depending on the URL that you input into our testing tool, you'll get some information as to what keyword you should put in the URL. Okay, now we're having a look at some of the on-page factors, such as the title tag and meta description. The title tag is uh, is a piece of code that is put into the back end of the website that shows up at the top here. For example, here we've got a search engine website, and if we hover over that top part, it's going to show us the title, the SEO page title. We always want to have that as closely related to the keyword that we're targeting. Here we can see the exact keyword is found in the title, which is a good sign. The title is a little bit too long. There's a 60 is the character limit that you want. If your title's too long, it's going to show up a bit funny in the Google search results. So if we go Auckland scaffolder, let's find a page title that's too long. So here we go. NZ Herald has got a page title that's too long, as we can see the dot dot dot. So it cuts off, which isn't nice. Um, let's put in scaffolding Auckland. Here's a good one. Affordable scaffolding Auckland. Affordable group. See how that title's not cut off. It reads nicely. Here's Superior Scaffolding Auckland. And here is an example of one that's cut off because it's got the dot dot dot. So you want to avoid that. Meta description. Meta description is this part here that goes underneath the title. So it's this little snippet here to entice people to click on your result. So we've got the keyword in there, which is good. Our meta description is a bit too long, so it's probably going to get cut off. Then it's given us a recommendation for what character length we want to put in there. Okay, now we've got a bit of an image analysis. Um, this is quite technical, but images are important for SEO. You always want to describe images with a good file description. You want to keep them compressed so they're not too big. If they're too big, it'll slow your website down. And you want to have an alt tag on there, so if people are blind and they can't see images, they can read the alt tag, which explains what the image is about. So here we've got some good scores. 61% of the images have an alt tag. We've got the exact keyword in the alt tag, which is good. We've got the exact keyword found in the image name. Some of the image names are too long, so we might want to look into that. And just a reminder to use an alt tag for every image. Now I've just got a report of all the images scraped on the site along with the alt text. So as you can see, some of them have an empty alt tag. Some of them have a very limited alt tag, property project image. That's not really helpful. And then we have good alt text here, which is Deck Builders Auckland Composite Decking Bakers Builds. Okay, more image stuff. I'll skip through that. Okay, now we've got to look at the headings on this web page. So we've got H1s, H2s, H3s, and H4s, and H5s, and H6s. These are important for SEO and also for readability of the site. You know, you want to have graduated headings to explain and help people find content on your page. So real quick, it says we've got two H1s, which is a big no-no. So I'm just going to double check that. I just do Control F while on the website page, and it's going to pull up the back end of the site. I'm just going to validate the dual H1. Okay, so it says we've got a H1 there and an H1 there. So that needs to be fixed. I didn't realize that, which is good. Okay, and then H2, we've got 14 H2s, which is quite a few. We might want to think about condensing that. We've got some good keyword relevancy scores for the headings, which is a good sign. Uh, so this is pulling up the H1 tag, which is like the title of your page. So we've got a double H1, which is not good. You should only have one H1. So here we've got the correct one, obviously, which has been written for SEO. So we need to get rid of that. This page has multiple H1s. Now we've got H2s. Okay, so this is good to see. We can see the kind of the table of contents almost for the page. So uh, it's obviously not looking too comprehensive. You know, these ones here aren't helpful. 01, 02, 04. These ones are good. These orange ones, but we need to get rid of these obviously. And it's just stating that the length of your H2 should be, a good amount to help people. Same with H3s. I won't go into that. Same with H4s and H5s. Make them descriptive and make them fairly short. Okay, now we're just having a look at some key phrases. That's not very important. Again, key phrases. That's just seeing if there's, multiple instances of certain sentences. We've only got these key phrases appearing once, which means there's no duplicate sentences. Now we're going a bit more granular. So we can see how Auckland Builders is used quite a lot. There, where what we're doing is putting the keyword in while we're describing what our builders do. It's always a good thing to include the exact keyword in your sentences where it makes sense from a readability point of view. Going a bit more granular, we can see we've got the exact match keyword there 9 times, which is good. Here we go, Auckland Builders, which is our target key phrase. We've got it in the title, meta, H1 and H2, which are the most important parts to have your target keyword alongside the URL and usually the first sentence of your web page. Okay, moving along. Now we've got to look at internal linking. So we've got 52 links from this page. That includes the header and the footer. Um, so we can see that some pages have been linked multiple times. You want to make sure that your internal links do not have a nofollow tag because that tells Google not to pass any link or SEO value along. So make sure you've got that green. Some of our links don't have discernible text, so we need to check that. Make sure each internal link has a good anchor link on it, which is basically the text. For example, if this was a sentence on a website and we were highlighting than 3 times, that would be the anchor text. You always want to have a descriptive anchor text. Okay, here's a look at some of the anchor text. Skip the content. So you might have a look into that one. Or I might have a quick look now. Skip to content. I think this has got to do with the video that we've got. So I'll look into that one in a later date. Let's more look at the internal links. Then we've got some external links, including the phone number. Um, yeah, external links aren't super high priority, but look into that.